Hey guys, it's Malthus here once again with another video, and wouldn't you know it, it's Spectral fucking Throw. So Spectral Throw is a skill I've loved in many different iterations and versions of the build, and this most recent one I've been trying to play and make is the Mortem Morsu Assassin, which scales Chaos and Poison. Mortem Morsu is a claw that you get at level 34, which does poison on hit. It has some really good attack speed, some really good crit multi, a bit of conversion from Fizz to Chaos, which isn't too important, and basically just becomes a Chaos scaling build, as a lot of builds are these days, with some of the revamped claw passives. So it's not necessarily the endgame claw, it can be a better build overall, and even this entire build itself may not be the best thing ever, but this is a small example of what it's going to look like in the end game, as I'm still just leveling and not quite too ready to show you too much, but you know what it is: Spectral Throw, Poison, Chaos, all of that, and we'll have more of that in the future. But for this video, it's just going to be more about how you get a character like this started and how you level some Spectral Throw, as some people have expressed a few concerns to me about, you know, getting their character off the ground and why their experience doesn't look like mine. Now this video won't be for everyone, because a lot of you will already know what you're doing, and you know, this won't really be any news to you. You'll know what items to grab, what gems to go for, and what passives to take. This is more of an introduction on leveling the character fast and using Spectral Throw, because a good Spectral Throw with a bunch of good leveling uniques and right passives as you travel along is a thing of beauty. It is a very smooth leveling process, and it's very quick and enjoyable. So I'll start things off just by saying that probably Shadow and Ranger has the smoothest leveling process for Spectral Throw because of where they start on the tree and their initial few passives that get you going. So these are general physical and chaos damage nodes here that then get you to attack speed, that then get you to some good life and scaling your crit, and then your projectile damage, bit of life and all that. Those are really nice to start out as a Shadow, and then you can quite easily just travel straight down to Ranger and pick up the projectile damage nodes here. Whereas as a Ranger, you start out, you get all of these tasty projectile damage nodes, and then you can go over here and grab some attack speed, some life and all that, and bounce straight up to Shadow. Or as a Ranger, you can go straight over to Duelist and start getting projectile damage here. Now the significance of projectile damage, if you don't know, is it's all types of damage. So Spectral Throw is a projectile, and whenever you buff your Spectral Throw with projectile damage, that will include elemental damage, chaos damage, and physical damage. So projectile damage is the real moneymaker that you're looking for when leveling Spectral Throw, and Ranger to start out with has almost 100% right there, so that's doubling your damage quite easily there. So that's mostly what you're looking out for when leveling these characters. You know, you want to get some of the good life nodes early on, the good crit nodes, the good proj damage nodes, and one of the main reasons Spectral Throw is so good for leveling is right as you pick it up and you grab lesser multiple projectiles at level 8, you're pretty much with your endgame build already. You don't have to scale area, you don't have to worry too much about projectile speed because you'll get a bit through the starting passives, and your build is more or less complete, and you just gain more damage and more attack speed as you go. And that's what makes Spectral Throw better in the long run, but initially you're already pretty much playing your endgame build. So it's so strong early on just because it's already essentially the completed skill you're going to be playing with, and you don't have to wait till the later levels to really fill it out. You can get plenty of attack speed early on, plenty of damage early on, and just cruise through the game. So your initial leveling setup will be based largely off of uniques basically, but most importantly is, for the comfort of the build, is some Elrond jewelry. So this is stuff that Elrond the Master sells after level 3 or 4, and it's minus mana cost of skills. So if you just wear like this ring, for example, just with -8 or so, that will take care of your mana cost for most of the early leveling process. By the time you're on a 4 link, you can probably get a second ring in, and at that point you'll still be pretty much free on mana cost altogether, and that frees up your skills to get your flasks to wear let's say 3 Quicksilver flasks. Now try and get movement speed on them as well, and then you can build into a silver flask as soon as you can, and a diamond flask, and then have 1 life flask. So Elrond jewelry is pretty damn important, just for the smoothness of your leveling, so that you don't have to worry about mana, so you don't have to worry about changing gear for the most part either. You just wear a couple of pieces of Elrond jewelry, and then your amulet at this point is probably going to be Karui Ward. This thing is insane for Spectral Throw at the moment. You get it at level 5, really good proj damage, movement speed, proj speed, so it increases the overall clear speed of your build pretty damn well early on. Now you grab a pair of Loctonio Caress, which you will replace at level 5 with Ondar's Clasp, because they have a 30% increased attack speed when on full life, and a good chunk of lightning damage as well, so they're a huge upgrade. And you pretty much go with whatever unique weapon you can get at level 1. I have a Bloodthorn here, which is fine for Spectral Throwing, but ideally you've got like 2 last resort claws, or whatever claws or weapons you can get for dual wielding. And eventually at level 10 you'll upgrade to something like the Princess, but you can really go with absolutely anything. There's a lot of leveling uniques to go through, especially for weapons, so utilize them as you can. Now Meganord's also very important at level 8, so get one of those happening, and Wanderlust will be your boots for most of the leveling journey. So with this like starting pack of uniques and items, I can safely clear like the first 40 levels without changing a single piece of gear, just occasionally upgrading weapons when you feel like you need to. So initially you'll start out with just Spectral Throw, and then as soon as you can, you'll get a few supports, and once you get some supports, you'll chuck in probably added fire, probably lesser multiple projectiles, and you don't have to change out of LMP into GMP until the late game. This will be just fine for the most part. Now when you get to bosses, you take out your LMP to help single target along, and replace it with something like an added cold if you can, or anything really. If you have enough Elrion Jury, you can just slam all kinds of support gems like lightning and added cold as well, or maybe even crit strikes, and a tabula goes a long way there, obviously. Now since you'll be using the Elrion Jury, you don't really care about mana cost whatsoever. Once you complete Chamber of Sins, Groost will give you some heralds. You'll probably grab one of them, doesn't really matter. You come over and buy the rest. So you will want to run triple Herald, Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ash, and Herald of Ice, and that makes your damage quite substantial, and you get some nice utility from all these other things as well. That's about the time that, almost about the time that you'll probably upgrade into Ungul's Gouch, whatever it is, and you'll dual wield these for most of the leveling process until you can get to Mortem Morsu, which is currently the build that we're playing. So at level 34, you can have your endgame claws, endgame weapon, and start, completely face rolling the game. Now this is also at around level 34. You'll probably also chuck in added chaos support and start moving into the setup that you're going to be running for the end game of this build, which will be a void manipulation, an added chaos gem, a faster attacks, and quite possibly a GMP, but not necessarily just yet. Make sure you grab a slower projectile so you can sub out through your GMP or LMP, and that will make boss fights infinitely better for you as you level your character. Now if you have your Mortem Morsus, a nice tabula with the right stuff and added chaos, and you're following the build, for example the one I'm doing, then you should be able to cruise through the entire game basically without changing too much, as your damage is scaling through added chaos continuously as you level. You have your endgame weapons right here, and all you really have to focus on is filling out your passive tree, mostly chaos damage, some crit stuff over here, and getting life as you feel like you need it. So the leveling process for this character should be pretty damn smooth. Something I should mention though that's pretty important is getting your Wither totem set up rather soon. So you attach Wither to Spell Totem and faster casting. Those are the 3 important links, and then get increased duration when you can. So that's a 4 link. Put down your Wither Totem on every single boss fight or anything that takes too long to die, and that will drastically speed up the speed at which you kill things, because it's insane with poison. So once you have these, you're always going to be poisoning. Wither's going to be absolutely massive, and it should be really good for the build. And lastly, as far as your gem setup is concerned and your weapons and all that, Whirling Blades, attach it to faster attacks as early on as you can. If you can get quality on your gems, like even 10 quality, it should only cost like an alch or a chaos. It's going to go a long way to fill out your attack speed. So try and get some quality in your gems, at least 10 before you start, on Spectral Throw, on faster attacks, on GMP. That will really go a long way as towards helping you level really quickly and smoothly. So just a few little examples taken from my stream as I was leveling this character. This is in normal. As you can see, by the time we've hit Dried Lake, I'm something like level 30, I don't know, 2 or 4 or something, and just motoring through it, one-shotting everything. Even bosses die pretty damn quick, but you can get some other Vile skills into the setup to really boost your clear speed, like a Vile Lightning Trap, so things take 50% more damage. That makes your poison a lot more effective. And yeah, as you can see, just the damage is nice. It ends up being just a little bit squishy by the time you're about level 50 if you're not maintaining your life non-stop. I did forget to mention a Thief's Torment goes a hugely long way to sustaining your life and mana, so try and wear that in place of the Orangery when you feel like you need to. I personally ended up wearing Thief's Torment up until about level 80 just because I was lazy to replace my rings, so even then it carries you quite hard with the life gain on hit and the mana gain on hit for your overall sustain of the character to replace needing lots of defenses. This is just a few clips going through Cruel. All the bosses die probably faster than anything else I've ever killed or leveled with. So yeah, this build setup, just the Mortem Morsu sort of assassin with Chaos Poison and Claws, ends up being a really smooth leveling experience. But you know, this is more of a general just Spectral Throw thing I'm talking about. Just try and get lots of proj damage, upgrade your weapons as often as you can, fill out your damage, get a Thief's Torment, and you're gonna just, yeah, go all the way through the game without too many troubles at all. It's very smooth, and I don't think anyone should really have too many problems. The only problems really come into play when you can't get these sorts of leveling nicks and you don't have access to it at the start of a league, in which case it is a bit slower and you have to get a bit more creative with how you craft weapons and all of that. So in any case, I hope you guys enjoy leveling your Spectral Throw characters if you're going to be going towards Spectral Throw anytime soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time with probably a build video for the Mortem Morsu Assassin.